Good evening and welcome to another live stream brought to you from beautiful Abruzzo in Italy by A Home in Italy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's back to normal. The celebrations are over. The diet has begun. David's sad. Anyway, it's a new year. It's 2024. We're all excited, aren't we? We are all excited. I can feel it. I can sense it. Even though at the moment it looks like absolutely nobody's in the room. Oh, now I can see people coming in. Let us know where you are in the world. Type away. Let us know which part of the world. Yeah, we've got Al from Florida. Stamps is saying hello. Let us know where you are in the world. Let's make sure this chat box is working. And if it's the first time, well, welcome to you. This is something we do every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Italian time. My name's David Benton. For those of you who don't know, me and my wife run A Home in Italy, and we've been doing this for over 15 years now. It feels like 90. Actually, it's about 17 years now, I think. We've been helping overseas buyers buy, restore, and move to beautiful Italy, and in particular, the incredible region of Abruzzo, where we are now. How is everybody? How's the start to 2024? Is it going okay for everybody? Hopefully it is. Well, tonight, as you can see, be prepared for your Italian property search. We are starting right from the beginning. So we're going to be giving you a few little tips. You may think they're nothing tips, but these are big things for you to consider. So I want you to pay attention tonight and be very serious. This is a serious one tonight. And we've also got Tony back. Tony, the producer, is back. In fact, Tony, I think you need to come and say Happy New Year to everybody. Seems though you abandoned us last week and went to, I think it was Germany. Let's have a quick, let's see where he is. Hold on a sec. He loves it when I just bring him on like that. He's frantically doing his hair and he's still got his Santa beard. Come on, Tony. Happy New Year, sir.
Yeah.
And what are you doing?
I'm still drinking from New Year's.
Yeah. Yeah. You've been sat there since the 31st.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. To everybody. Happy New Year to all the subscribers and viewers and everybody.
There you go. That was Tony being nice. We like to have a little glimpse of Tony every now and then, don't we? The key is to keep it under 20 seconds because then it just starts to get a little bit boring, doesn't it? You know, but we let him out of his cage every now and then. Anyway, he's not even putting any comments on the screen. You can tell. Oh, no, look. Oh, we've got a few comments coming on now. So there you go. Got a few notices before we get on to our subject, and then obviously we'll get talking. I said this one is called Be Prepared. We're going to do two live streams that follow on from each other. So tonight and the one tomorrow sort of follow on. Then we're going to have a little bit of break. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's coming up. In fact, I'll do that now. There's Pete Pacentro checking in. Pacentro Pete. Everybody's wondering. In fact, some people have said, who is Pacentro Pete? He's actually coming on soon. So Tony, if I can just take the screen for a second, because I want to tell everybody what the up and coming webinars are. So on the 16th of January, so that's next Tuesday. Is that right? Have I got the right? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, 16th of January. Initial contract. So it's sort of a follow-on from tonight. These are the kind of contracts that you could be expected to sign straight away as soon as you find a property that you love. And there could be some strange ones in there that you've never heard about. So that's an important one to watch. And obviously, it's all been part of the being prepared. Because that's the most important thing. So that's on the 16th. That's next Tuesday. On the 23rd, we've got Meet the Home Buyers, and I have asked Pacentro Pete if he will finally do Meet the Home Buyers, and he has promised me that he is going to do it. Hopefully, I didn't listen to your message properly, Pete, but hopefully you're not traveling during that day. If you are, then we will we'll move it to another day. But if not, it'll be the 23rd of January. Then the 30th of January, we're doing the foreign currency exchange, whatever you want to call it, live stream with our special guest David Nixon, and we all get on with David, don't we? Don't we? Yes, we do. Tony, what's happening today? I can't believe the holidays are finished. Why is it things go so quick? Anyway, that's another subject. I love doing these anyway. But yeah, that's with David Nixon. So that's on the 30th of January. He's going to be giving us some unbelievable tips, some very, very important tips about being prepared for exchanging the money from your currency to euros, and how you can, a few tricks that he's got that you can really save on. Okay, so that is one of what's the other things that we've got to talk about? There was something else. Oh yes, the big one, the tours. First tour of this year is coming up at the end of January, which obviously we are completely booked. Tony's trying to always, he keeps waving little notices at me in the corner of my eye. Website is written. He just wants to wind me up tonight. I know he does. Anyway, back to the tours. The first one starts in a couple of weeks. I have sent emails out to those of you who are joining us on that tour. So you should have had that requesting a telephone number so we can do a WhatsApp group and all the rest of it. But I have managed to add an extra couple of spaces on to a couple of the tours that were previously full. And that's because I made a complete hash of the numbers, and I've had to book 2 buses rather than 1.5 bus. Don't know how I did it. I'm going to completely blame other people because obviously it wasn't me. But yeah, so I managed to add an extra couple of spaces onto the March one, which is the 21st and 22nd of March. We do meet the day before these for an aperitivo, and you can go onto our website, which is at the bottom, www.homeanditaly.com. Go to the tours section and you can download the PDF, and it's got all the information on there. They're fantastic things. I'm going to talk a little bit about those as well during tonight's session. So there's 2 spaces on March the 21st. Now, these usually go pretty quick. So I would say if you are wanting to come, then please book it as soon as possible. On April 18th and 19th, there are 2 spaces. In fact, those 2 spaces are actually because a couple that were coming on that are now remote buying a property that they're fallen in love with, so they don't need to come on the tour anymore. So there you go. May, I've managed to add 3 spaces. That's on the 23rd and 24th. We will also be publishing the autumn dates. I was going to do one in June, but to be honest with you, it's going to be too hot. So unless we change our mind in February, March time, it's looking like the last one will be May, and then we will start again at the end of September, end of October, and end of November. There's a possibility that we do 2 in October because October was really popular last year, but again, we'll decide on that over the next month or 2. What's the other things that I need to say? Yes, don't forget this one. I'm surprising myself. I've got notes here, and then I've got notes on my screen, and I'm still forgetting. And then there's Tony there waving his little bit of piece of paper in the corner. Rental properties. I've mentioned this before. And Lewis and Lisa, who have got a number of properties around the Abruzzo area, they are going to be coming on, even though I've not asked him yet, so I hope he's listening now. I'm hoping Lewis is going to join us in February, just to have a little chat about the properties that he's bought. Never even been to the area yet. So it's sort of a mix between meet the home buyers and talking about rental properties. But if you're looking for rentals around the Sulmona, Palombara, which is my side of the mountain, there's also going to be a Tessa coming soon. There's properties in all the towns and villages around Sulmona. Then it's a fantastic contact. And if you're looking to come over, I don't know, for a month or for a week or whatever it is, then please contact me on the info@ahomeanditaly.com. Leave your telephone number, preferably with WhatsApp on it if you can. If you haven't got that, it's a fantastic app, and you should do it because it's a brilliant one to use. And I'll get Lewis to contact you to give you some details of the properties that they have available. He's also going to be sponsoring some of these live streams throughout this year, so it's a great contact for us. It's completely dealt direct with him. We don't make any commissions out of it. We're not interested in making any commissions out of it. That's not what this is about. And he gives some fantastic prices, especially compared to some of the bigger websites. So any of you that are looking for rental properties around Abruzzo, and he's got some really fantastic ones, then please contact me, as I say, on info@ahomeanditaly.com. Leave your telephone number and I will pass that on. And as I say, he will be coming, hopefully, if he's listening, he will be coming and joining us probably early February, just to come and say hello to everybody and have a little bit of a chat. Okay, so go on, Tony. You can start putting more messages on if you like now. What else have we got to say? No, that's everything. Oh yeah, the website. I suppose I better mention the website because the properties are up to date. Now, obviously, we have kicked the year off in great fashion because people are just, I think everybody was just sat at home eating their food and drink and whatever else and just thinking, let's buy a home in Italy, because it certainly kicked off the way it finished the end of last year. So there's a couple that sold that's on the site, and I need to write sold. And there's a couple of new properties to go on there, and I will email you once I've done that, which will be over the next couple of days. There is still lots of updates to go on there. There's more videos to go up there. I've changed the homepage around. I've mentioned Patreon to you before, and that's going to happen. Tony's saying, Pete, I'll be there. Brilliant. That's going to be a great meet the home buyers, because he's got a place in that. So he's a really nice guy as well, but he's got a place in a brilliant town called Pacentro, so that's going to be well worth listening to. Yeah, so I've got a few changes going on the website, which it is taking a little bit longer, but at least the properties are up to date, so people can stop moaning at me now, in particular the producer type person. We are also going to see some new properties in some new parts of Abruzzo. One of those is Chieti. The fantastic town of Chieti, if you've never been before, very close to Pescara. Unfortunately, Pescara was bombed in the war quite badly, and there's no real historical centre. But 10 minutes up the hill is beautiful Chieti, and we're going to be showcasing a number of properties there. We've got a fantastic agent there that has agreed to be part of our team. So we all know what that means. Any agents that work with a home in Italy cannot charge you a commission. And what does that mean? That means then that you can use our services instead. Do you see how we did that? But our services are not commission-based. Our services are there to help you through the whole procedure, right from the beginning to the very end and beyond. So that's the great thing. People that agree to work with us, make sure they don't charge you a commission. They don't add price. They don't make the prices higher. They don't charge double to the seller. They get their commission from the seller, and that's it. They do not charge you guys, which is fantastic. And also, we've got another agent coming on board from Popoli, which is a great town around the Sulmona side. He's actually quite close to a lot of the areas that we already deal in. We're going to be moving into Pratola as well, with our man Domenico at that side of the mountain. Popoli is one that we've not covered as much, purely because we do work occasionally with an agent there, and we do like to not to stand on people's toes, especially when they're really good people. So we are going to be showcasing some fantastic properties in beautiful Popoli. And the great thing with Popoli is that it is on the railway line as well, and it's also become, well, it's now known as Popoli Terme, which means the thermal spas are now back open. So there's going to be a lot going off in that town. That's going to be something to look out for. Monica's saying, please, where can I book the tour? So if you go on to www.ahomeinitaly.com and click on tours, and then you will see them there. So that's a bit of an update on the, oh yes, and I don't keep saying oh yes, I'm just forgetting things. I've written it in big letters. Puglia. I have mentioned Puglia before, about the region of Puglia, obviously, and about the fact that we're going to be getting some properties for sale there. We are going to see, not sure when yet, because people, when we start dealing with agents, we have to make sure they go through our what's the word? I can't remember the English word, but we really have to grill these people. And these people are down in Lecce, which is a fantastic part of Puglia, and it's a fairly new agency, and they are so proactive. They seem to be great people. So they've found our channel and really want to work with us. So that's going to be something coming up really soon. We do already have contacts. If any of you are looking around the Alberobello area, we do have 2 people that we deal with there. Another one that's actually an English guy that is English and Italian, moved to Italy, and he's fantastic as well. We already do have contacts with them. So if you are looking in that area, get in touch. But these are further south, down in Lecce, and there's going to be hopefully there's going to be some great stuff coming from that area. So there you go. One more. I've mentioned the other areas. How we can help in other areas. A lot of people are saying to me, I understand that you work in Abruzzo. Can you help anywhere else? How does that work? Obviously, I can send you a PDF of how things are, how we work and how things are done. Tony's pointing at this message. I've got to read it, so just give me a few seconds, Michael, and I'll come to you. So I will send you a PDF of the services. There's different things when we're dealing out of the area. If somebody contacts us and say they want to buy a property in such and such, will you go and see it? Will you video it? Will you take care of everything and make sure everything's done on our behalf? We can do that. We've done that for lots of people. But then you may just get the people that are already going through the going through everything with an agent and all the rest, but you just want that extra little bit of support. It's a service that we're going to call the Lean on Me service, which is just a great name, isn't it? Who comes up with these? But that's going to be a simple service where we're just there for you. You're going to get a dedicated telephone number that comes direct to either myself or to Silvana, where we guaranteed to respond to you within that day. And it's just if you just want that little bit of extra support. And if, I don't know, if all of a sudden the agent says, this is happening, does this sound right? These are the kind of things that you can just contact us straight away, or something's on your mind, or somebody's maybe said, you know, this is the price for the notary. You may think it's a bit high. You may want to try and find ways of saving and that sort of stuff. And that's going to be a new service that we're bringing out for 2024, which we think is quite an important one because, as I said, there's lots of people that are buying with other agents, buying with other people, but they just want us to be part of it. Obviously, we're not part of that service. There are extras if you need us to be power of attorney and all the rest of it. But the basics of that service is just for us to be by your side, if you like. So that's a new service. I'm going to put details of that on the PDF over the next week or so, and I will send you an email once that's done as well. Right, okay, now I have 16 minutes. 16 minutes, I haven't even started the subject. Michael is saying, hi from Iceland, David. How do I get hold of you? Been writing to you a few times with no luck so far. Okay, Michael, so if you've been writing from the 22nd of December, we were off until the 8th of January. So all emails were up to date through then. So if you have been emailing during this Christmas period, hopefully, well, obviously you must not have got any of the autoresponders, maybe checking your spam, but we only opened yesterday with our first day back, so we have a mountain of emails that we are working our way through. I've just about finished the ones that come direct to the info at, and I now need to work on the website ones. So if you sent emails before the 22nd, there must be some reason why I haven't got them. They may not have arrived to us, so I would send it again. But if you have sent it during the Christmas period, then that's the reason, because we are pretty good at getting that back to people with emails now. It used to be a standing joke before, but now we're usually within a few days we're back to people. Hi, Roger. Happy New Year to you as well, sir. Good to hear from you. Okay, so let's get started on tonight's live stream. Let's talk. Roger saying, looking forward to getting our home in properly. Yes, in fact, Roger, I will be in touch because I am going to go and see that one next week as well. So there you go. Right. So tonight's live stream, be prepared for your Italian property search. What do I mean about that? So this is obviously start of the new year. Everybody's going to be thinking this is the year. This is the year that we do it, and you're all getting excited. And you're all sat in front of the screen listening to me and coming off and then going onto the websites and thinking, God, we're going to have this one, I'm going to have this one, I'm going to do this, got to do that, got to do the other. And tonight, I just want to give you just a few tips on just how to slow things down a little bit, and how to really think about the best way, especially if you're coming out here, and especially if you're planning on coming out here to view properties. This is going to be really important to you. Hi, Jerry and Peter, by the way. When are you coming home? You need to be back home. They live just up the road from me. Okay, so I'm going to got a few bullet points I want to go through. We've got a first question in. Can I get my Codice Fiscale in Italy, or should I get it while I'm in my home country? I'm a dual citizen, USA and Italy. If you're a dual citizen, you should really already have a Codice Fiscale, but if you haven't, then you can apply on your local consulate. If you go into there and just follow the instruction there, just write Codice Fiscale at the top right of the local consulate's website, and it should take you through to an application form. You can do it in Italy while you're here, but you do have to make an appointment with the Agenzia dell'Entrada and do it there. And you need to take with you your passport and proof of address and that kind of thing. Okay, Tony's throwing these questions at me straight away. I hadn't even started the subject yet. Can you recommend an architect for a renovation of a historical building? I can, Monica. It depends where it is. If you send me an email to info@home-in-Italy, no problem. Okay, let's get started. So the first questions that you need to be asking yourselves, and I know these are the kind of things where I can already feel now some people switching it off and thinking, oh, he's just talking about things now that I know. But so many people don't think about things like this. And for me, it is really important that you start really thinking about how you're going to do this. Is it a reality? Are you actually ready to buy a property? So when I put how am I going to do this, what I mean by that is what do you think is going to happen? What do you think when you come to Italy and you found your place? What's your expectations? What do you think is going to suddenly happen? All of a sudden you just think, love it, sign a piece of paper and off you go. Because the reason why I'm saying how are you going to do this, do you have any contacts yet? Have you already started making? I know many of you are using us, which is fantastic, and I hope all of you do. But maybe you're looking in other areas as well. Maybe you've been on our website and thought there's nothing on the website yet that suits you, even though that should never stand in your way, and I'll tell you why later. So you really need to start thinking properly about who you're going to, and you need to start planning it now, because there's so many people that leave things while the last minute and expect everybody to be here waiting for you to come over to buy a house. Believe me, it is just not like that at all, because the agents are really busy, and especially in some of the more popular areas now, such as Abruzzo and places like that. What am I comfortable with? So what do I mean by that? There's so many people remote buying at the moment. Is that you? Is that you? Are you ready to sort of jump on something as soon as you see it? Do you look at loads of videos, hopefully our videos, and think, yes, I want that one? Are you actually really ready to do that? So many people do, but are you ready to do that? Or is that a little bit out of the question as well? When we do this, when we publish our new website, we spoke before about splitting people into groups. And the reason for this is because, in my opinion, people tend to look at video properties, and especially our video properties. Thanks very much for doing that, by the way. And they will be completely distraught if they've missed out on one. I've got to be honest, the property videos go pretty quick, go very quick. Not all of them, but a good amount of them go really quick. And people are concerned. But then the reality is that lots of people are not even ready to remote buy, but you get you feel like you've really missed out, and people really get sort of down about it. And I do get some emails, saying, how can we get the chance to have some of these properties? We deal with everything in date and time order, because that is the fairest way to do it. But the vast majority of people are not ready to pull the trigger on something like this. Or maybe they're saying, okay, yeah, I want to hold that one, but I'm not coming for 3 or 4 months. That's not going to happen. But the thing is, what people are going to realize is that there's plenty of things here. There was always going to be something that gets found. Our video properties are such a small percentage of the amount of properties that we have open to us. It's just impossible for me to video everything. Don't get me wrong, the ones that we do are fantastic. And for those of you that are ready, then jumping in is the perfect thing. But not everybody's like that. So it's better to admit that to yourself and stop beating yourself up every Saturday after our videos are on at 3 o'clock and you think, I've missed this one again because I've seen it half an hour late, or whatever it is. Because if that's not you, then stick to what is you. Because, as I said, there's too many people that are just they're just not ready, and they don't want to go down that line. So the best thing that you guys can do is start making more contacts and start following some of these instructions that we're going to say tonight. For those of you that do want to remote buy, that's fantastic. Hopefully the people that have bought from our videos, they're fully aware of the town, because I tend to walk around at the town and all the rest of it, and people know that I'm here for as much information as possible. All you need to do when you're remote buying is just make sure that the person that you're buying from or using to help you buy is going to give you all the information, all the bad stuff, good stuff, or whatever. Because for me, when I'm doing remote sales, which I would say has probably been 85-90% of the sales that we've done last year, I have a conscience about it, because I need to think, would I buy this? Or is this person going to get here and say, oh my God, Dave, what have I done? And luckily, touch wood, I've not had any of those, even though there's lots of people that's not seen the houses yet. But for me, I have to be sure, not that anything can happen to me legally or anything like that, because you're give me the go ahead to buy things. But I need to make sure that is a good place for many reasons, not just a good place. I need to make sure it's a good area and everything else. And that's what we do. That's why we don't put lots and lots and lots of video properties on just to try and get paid from YouTube and numbers on YouTube. Don't get me wrong, the numbers and the payments from YouTube are a huge help, and it's a huge help for the channel and for the equipment and the investment we're doing on that kind of thing. But that's not what it's all about. And so you do need to put yourselves in the where you are at this moment, because if you're not ready to remote buy, forget about, obviously view the properties, get a good feeling for them, see what's available, but don't worry, there's going to be other things. I've also said on this section, would a look around the area be better? This may seem like a strange one, but lots of people have never even been to Abruzzo before. Lots of our clients have never been to Abruzzo, and this doesn't just apply to Abruzzo, it applies to everywhere. They've suddenly set their mind on a certain area, whether it's because of me, whether it's because of another person in another area doing videos, or wherever it may be, they think that's the area for me. Some people have never even been to Italy. And I think that looking around the area, if you've got the time where you can come out and do that and then maybe start looking afterwards, is a huge thing. If you haven't got that time, then just do your research and obviously try and get as much information from people as you can, and hopefully join our shows so you can hear other people talking about just what Laurie's saying there. Thank you, Laurie. John and I put all our trust in Dave. He guides us from A to Z effortlessly, but also do your research in advance. And that's because they were ready. Like many other people, they'd not been here before, but they were ready. They got their contacts. They were happy with the person that they were dealing with, which thankfully was us. And this is what this is all about. And then I've written, be honest with who you're working with. Now, why do I say that? That there's nothing, if you're not ready to buy yet, but you will really want to come out and see the area. So let's say, you contacted me and you said, look, Dave, I want to come and I want to start seeing some properties. Now, lots of people will say that they want to start seeing properties just to get an idea of what Italian property is like. I understand that. There's nothing worse if somebody doesn't tell you that beforehand and people come out. I'm not saying everybody does this, they certainly don't, but if people come out and use you as a travel guide, and agents in particular, certain Italian agents and the way they work, they will not thank you at all for that. And it will be a future relationship that'll just disappear. You could then write them an email the week after and say, I am interested, I'm coming out again in 6 months. They will ignore you completely, because it's, again, if you're looking for somebody that you want to trust, then you've got to give a little bit something back. And I don't mind taking people around to view properties. A lot of the time now, the people who I work with do that, because I tend to be looking after other things as the sale progresses. But afterwards, if somebody's taken 2 or 3 days up and they're looking at property after property after property after property, and then you get an email at the end and they say, thank you so much, it's been absolutely fantastic. When we're ready next year, we're going to definitely come back to you. Now, it is a little bit of a kick in the teeth, not because I expect everybody to buy, definitely not. In fact, the opposite. Luckily, most people do, but I always expect the opposite of that. But for me, you could have spent more time doing other things rather than just hunting around properties. You could have spent more time looking at the areas. You could have contacted me and said, Dave, as a lot of people do, thankfully, they will sort of contact me and say, look, I want to buy there, but this is just a recce. This is just a trip just to suss out the area. People like that, for me, are fantastic because they're honest with you. And then I can then push it to another level to say, well, look, in my opinion, what you should do is this. And these towns you should visit, and these 4 towns you should visit. And then if you've got a spare day, go here. And then on your way back, stop off there, do that. And all of a sudden then this trip, somebody did one over Christmas and they asked me if I would write a bit of an itinerary. They've got 2 days here. And I don't mind doing that. And it took very little time to do. And they sent me an email to say it was amazing, that they had a fantastic time. There was a couple of places I knew really well, so I gave them restaurants as well. They knew exactly where they were going each day. I told them places where to see, and it was a huge benefit for them. So it is really important that when you start making relationships with people, it's really important that you're honest right from the very start. So if you are just coming to look at the area, then tell us, because we can help you in different ways, and your time is going to be best, what can you say, better used rather than viewing properties that are not going to be available when you're ready to view. It's pointless. But I think people get excited because we all want to see properties, and I understand that as well. But it doesn't do you any good in the long run. Believe me, it really doesn't. Better to come and look at the area than just to go and look at a load of properties. Okay, let me move on to the next one. Choose who you want to work with, check their credentials, and make your contacts. So this is a huge one. Again, choose, hopefully people are going to come with us, which will be fantastic. But if you're traveling around the area and you want to see other people as well, get a good relationship with them. More importantly, check that they are legally registered. Check that they are what they say they are, because if not, this is where the problems could start straight away. Does the business have an EVA number? What's an EVA number? It's a VAT number. This is a simple way to check if people can do what they're telling you that they can do. In other words, are they in business, or is this all just sort of on the side? Is it all just, yeah, we'll help you? Because everybody in Italy is an estate agent. Everybody knows somebody that's selling a house. Come with me, or go with this person, or go with that. And for some reason, so many people do. They just follow on, and this is fantastic. You know, we're doing this and we're doing that. This is where problems can really start. So you really do need to check these basic things. So even if you're looking at a website as we speak, and it's a fantastic website, Lorraine's saying, I checked you out, all good. But that's the thing, people that are registered, I'm going to mention now, we are not estate agents. I've told people this so many times. That's not what we do. We're registered as consultants. The important thing is we're registered. We're registered to do something. We're a business. We can do what we say that we can do. And there is a difference between consultants and a difference between estate agents and the difference between property finders and the difference between all these people. But the important thing is they all sort of interlink slightly in a certain way. There's lots of gray areas. Now, we deal with estate agents as well. So there are gray areas where everything goes. But the most important thing is checking that people are registered, because there are a few even YouTube channels all over Italy where people are doing these videos. And I mentioned this last week, I think it was. And it drives me insane because people are giving advice on these channels. And I think, what on earth are you saying? Why are you telling people this? It is wrong. And there's quite a few people now that have seen that certain channels, not just in Abruzzo, all over, certain channels are getting good views because it's property. So people think that's what we'll do. Let's go and do. What they don't realize is somebody is sat hundreds or thousands of miles away looking at that and listening to your advice, listen to their advice. They don't realize the kind of damage that can be done. That can be doing, should I say. And that is a huge thing for me, because it's not right. You know, I understand why people are doing them. They want to get the views, they want to build up channels, they want to do all the rest of it. But you're investing thousands into this. And just because somebody speaks the same language, or just because they seem a nice couple, or they seem a nice person, or they seem a nice whatever, they've got a nice website and all the rest of it, people then think, oh, well, it'll be okay. It's not okay. That's where problems start. So again, look who you're dealing with. You know, it's all right looking at all these videos, but some people, I do sometimes get emails where they say, I don't understand, I watch your videos, but I don't know who we've got to contact, even though I write it on there and say that you contact info@homeinitaly, blah, blah, blah. But I actually prefer that people question things, because it is important. Because there's just too many people and they usually are good English speakers. They may be English, they may be American, they may be wherever, but they're the ones that we tend to hook on to because they speak the same language. They understand us. And I understand that. I get that. I really do. That's one of the strongest things for our business, is the fact that I speak the same language as 99% of my clients. And obviously people are going to look at that. But you know, we're in business. We pay taxes. We're registered. We're not going to take you down a line that, because if I'm the one that's not invoicing and doing everything on the side, that means that somebody else must be doing that as well. Because people don't do anything for free. People just do not do anything at all for free. They do things for money. Stan is saying, thank you again for all you do for us. We are over the moon with not only our new home in Italy, but with the wonderful relationships you've connected us to. Great people, Stan and Sharon. They've been on a couple of our. You should look back at look at their restorations. Once this is finished, which it is now, when they come back, we're going to have another one. Fantastic people. Thank you, Stan. But yeah, it is so important because, as I say, if somebody says no, I do this for nothing, I do this just to help. No disrespect, I don't believe that. So they're getting the money from somewhere. Where's that money coming from? So if it's not invoice or anything else, it's coming from somewhere or some part of the deal, some part that shouldn't be happening. And then if anything, God forbid, goes wrong, or if somebody's being misled about something, like I sometimes see on these videos where people say, yeah, you could knock that wall down, or you could do this, you could cover this terrace. And I think, oh God, these people are going to be buying these properties thinking they can do that. They're going to be asking the council, and the council are going to say no. I hate stuff like that. It really, really annoys me, because that should not happen. And I just really believe that, you know, you shouldn't be dealing with people like that. You need to get your contact straight away and make sure that they are registered, and make sure that at least they're in some sort of business, because if things do go wrong, you've got some sort of comeback. Because believe me, these nice people, whoever they are, and they may well be very nice, and no disrespect to them, they probably are really nice, but you shouldn't be doing that. So, you know, at least get yourselves registered in some way, so you've got some sort of comeback for people. Because what happens if anything goes wrong? Everybody says, I don't know, nothing to do with me. I've not had any money from them. And that's, you know, they're all obvious things, but it happens, not just in Italy, it happens all over the world. So again, check, this is an easy way to check if somebody is a business, an EVA number. We all have to have VAT numbers, and that's what an EVA number is. So we don't all have to charge VAT, because there's some new tax schemes and things like that where we don't have to charge VAT. Not everybody, but certain tax schemes you can not charge it, but you still have to have an EVA number. Where are they based? That's a big one, because some people will still show on their website that they're based in another country. You know, well, if you're claiming that, or this person's claiming that they're in Italy. So when you read the website and it says, you know, we've lived in Italy for 10 years or whatever it is, and blah, 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 blah. But then you look at the registration details of the business and it's outside of Italy. We think, well, you can't do that, because if you live in Italy, then you must be here. So there's little things, they're obvious things, but just check. I'm not saying don't deal with these people, and certainly not the ones that are based in other countries, because that's fine, it may be completely legit. But if they live here, but their business are based somewhere else, that's, the Italian government wouldn't allow that. So you just need to find a bit more information out. Who am I dealing with? You know, what can you do? What can't you do? Are they estate agents? You may say again, how do I get to find out this? That's because estate agents have to put their details on there. They put their EVA number and they put an REA number, which is the number that they register themselves at the local Chamber of Commerce. And what they do is they put that on their websites, because estate agents want you to know, because they're tired of people that are doing things that they shouldn't be doing and charging a lot of money for it. You know, they're tired of things like that. I dare say some of them don't like me, because I deal with estate agents and I deal with things in a different way. But we're legally registered as consultants. What we do is completely legal. But what these people do is they put on their websites and their business cards and everything, they put all their details on there because they want you to know. So if you can't find that information, there's something not right, because it shouldn't take any digging. You should just go down to the bottom of the page. If you go down to the bottom of our page, there's the address, there's the EVA number, and it's there. If you go to, I don't know, plucking a name out of the hat, you go to Raymax, go down to the bottom, it will give you the details. You know, so because these people want you to know that, and it's just important. It's again, it's all part of the having a stress-free life, so to speak. Okay. Choose areas as well as houses. Never been there. What do you know? This I write because when we started looking at properties here, I had a list of houses that was completely unrealistic. We came out for 2 weeks, and our daughter was 2 then at that point, I think, and I'd booked us out to see so many properties. It was unbelievable, and we thought, let's do it. We'll give it a try. We'll start the process. We got to about day 3, and we were completely fed up. completely fed up. We were driving all over the place. We were just looking in Abruzzo. We started in North Abruzzo and then moved to Central, Central and a little bit to the south, where we are now. And as I say, day 2, day 3, I felt like I talked myself out of getting a property here. It was a nightmare because we were being passed from pillar to post, from one agent to another. I want to see this house, want to see that house. I had no idea. We just thought to ourselves, Abruzzo or Tuscany or Puglia or whatever, and we just thought, well, that'll do. That's where we want to be, Abruzzo. Abruzzo is a massive area. It may not be massive compared to some of the places where you live, maybe people that live in the States or people that live in Canada that are used to driving 20 hours along a straight road. Roads aren't straight here, and we have quite big mountains in the way. I know they do in other countries as well, but they're certainly not straight roads. And to get around takes some doing. On a map, it may look very simple, but the reality is different. Not in a bad way, but it's just not possible. And we spent days, and we were out from 9 o'clock in the morning till 5:30 in the evening, and it was a nightmare. Day 3 came in, and I cancelled every single appointment. So all my hard work of studying the internet, sending messages to the estate agents, getting appointments, finding out that most of them had sold, and because that's another thing that can happen here. All the properties out, and then some estate agents who were quite proactive were saying to me, why not look at some others? And I was like, no, I want to see these are the ones I want to see, and so on. And it was a nightmare. And we literally cancelled everything. I just cancelled it. I said, because I don't even know where I am. We were seeing houses and we were thinking, this is a nice house, but with no idea where we were. And before you knew it, the agent like, we need to move. You've got another half an hour. You're meeting so-and-so and you're going to see that one. Okay, so off you went. So at the end of the day, you thought, right, okay, which houses did we like? Which ones didn't we like? And we thought, well, we like this one. What was the town like? I can't even remember. I don't even know what day it is, let alone what the town was like. We got our daughter screaming in the back, wanting food. We wanted food. It was just an absolute nightmare. So all this preparation that had gone into, I was there thinking, this is the best way to do it. Let's see 5,000 properties in 2 weeks. And out of those 5,000, I'm going to find one. It's just not going to happen like that. And it was only until we said, stop. Let's have a look at the area. Let's have a little look around, see what we like, see what we don't like, because we suddenly realized that Abruzzo wasn't just a small area. And that's the same for all regions of Italy. Suddenly realized that what I thought Puglia was is not like that. For instance, North Puglia and South Puglia are completely different. And this is then when you start to think, maybe I made an error of doing that. Also, you see certain types of properties, you think, I want that type. Then you get here and you think, actually, I remember thinking I want loads of land, because coming from the UK, very difficult to buy land. I thought I want loads of land. And then when I was here and it was 40 degrees, I was like, why do I want a load of land? I'm going to have to buy tractors. I'm going to have to buy 1,000 goats or sheep or whatever. When am I going to cut this grass? I never used to cut the grass at home in England, and the garden was nothing. It used to be a nightmare just getting the lawnmower out to do 10 by 10. But all of a sudden we come to Italy and we're looking out at the balcony, and the agent or whoever it is saying, and you own all that hillside. And you think, oh, fantastic. Look at this hillside. I go, thank the Lord, or whoever it was, that we didn't. We ended up suddenly getting a reality check, because believe me, the reality check will definitely come. Actively researching through 14 plus property sites and realtors, 6 plus YouTube channels, and I still prefer the types of properties available through a home in Italy. Well, that's very kind of you, and the services they offer. That's very kind, Claire. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So this is what it's about. If you, and when I've put you've never been there, what do you know? This is because, again, people sort of say, this is the area where I want to be. I don't want to go there. And I'll get lots of people will say to me, people know that one of my favorite parts of Abruzzo is Sulmona. I live on the other side of the mountains, closer to the coast. I still have a half an hour drive to get to the coast. Sulmona, you probably have 40 minutes drive. So people say, no, maximum half an hour. Sulmona's too far inland, too high up in the mountains. And then I say, have you been here? Because it's not in the mountains. It's got mountains around it, but it's, have you actually been? And people say, no, but I've read about it. It's completely different. And when somebody says, okay, it must be within 20 minutes of the beach, right? So if you found the perfect place that was 30 minutes, so an extra 10 minutes in the car when you're on holiday and you chilled out, you're not going to work, you're not rushing for an appointment, you're not rushing to pick the kids up or drop grandchildren off or take your pets for a walk or whatever. 10 minutes extra in a car where you're looking at beautiful scenery, you're feeling like life is wonderful. Is that really going to bother you? Seriously? And this is when I'm saying, and I understand people that you do have to have requirements, and I understand that. Definitely have some requirements, but try and be a little bit more. You know, if you say you don't want to be in the mountains, don't look at the mountain range and then look at Sulmona, for instance, and think, right, that's up in the mountains. It's not at all. And it's actually really easy to get around from there as well. I'm closer to the beach, but mine's more of a windy drive down, and I am closer to the mountains and slightly up the mountains. So it's sort of, you need to come out, whichever region you're visiting, and saying, look, we're here for a week. I can't do 20 properties a day because I'm not going to see the area. If you've been before, it's different. You need to split it up into bite-sized pieces, which we're going to be doing another Maya Abruzzo, one of these as well, to split the region up into bite-sized pieces. But that's what you need to do. And you need to say, this is the kind of property. Get your contact. Tell your contact the kind of property. If your contact, like myself, won't send you a list that of properties is going to show you, or she's going to show you, don't stress them out. Just go with the flow. Because when people say to me, Dave, I need to see what properties, I'm going to give you a little trade secret now. If you come in viewing properties with us and you say, Dave, I need to see what, I will say to you by email, we're not sure yet because some may be sold and we'll get some new ones, and we've got a lot that's not on the and I can feel now people have said, yeah, he said that to me. We say that for a reason, because people will just look at these properties and just say, no, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. If you would have seen my house, there is no way in a million years I would have asked the agent to take us to see the house that we bought. Not in a million years. You know, this house was horrendous before we had the works done. And look what happened. We bought this one. And it happens so often. I understand that people, and I think that's why I wrote, even though it sounds a bit harsh, what do you know? You've never been there, what do you know? It is true, because we think we know. We do all this research. We go onto Facebook and we hear all the armchair experts spouting off a load of things about, oh, don't come to Italy because blah, blah, blah. But yet they're in Italy enjoying life. We know all about all of that, you know, but, you know, there's only so much research you can do. And then you just suddenly got to say, you know what, let's just go. Let's just go and let's have a good look around. But don't come here as Mr. or Mrs. Expert and think that you know everything about everything, because then it will be a waste of time. And I don't mean to sound nasty when I say that, but just think properly about it. Again, when I say be open-minded, rustic can be awkward, ugly can be beautiful. So I'm not talking about Tony. He's laughing. And it's a joke before anybody starts shouting at me. Be open-minded. So rustic can be awkward. What do I mean about that? When you get somebody that's big-boned, like myself, that doesn't fit quite, you know, very easily into small spaces. I love rustic. I love stone. I love all of that kind of thing. Our property is partially stone, and we've revealed some of that stone and all the rest of it. But when we bought it, it didn't look like stone at all. But we thought originally sort of a stone farmhouse, that kind of thing. And then people will say, I want a really nice rustic stone farmhouse with huge windows. Those two don't go together because they're made in a certain way where windows are small. Then people will say, I want big open plan rooms. And well, rustic properties tend to have smaller rooms. So that's what I mean by rustic can, not always, can be awkward. So when we saw our property, even though, like I said, I should have put a photograph of it on here. When we first saw our property, it was a bit of a, what on earth are you doing bringing us here? But it's only when we went inside, we'd seen some rustic ones that we thought we liked. And then we came into this one, and all of a sudden we thought, well, hang on a minute, this ugly building, location brilliant, and it had huge square rooms. Well, not huge, but good-sized square rooms. We had sort of nearly 3 meter high ceiling, 2 meter 80, 290, whatever they are, ceilings. And we suddenly thought these open spaces that we wanted and the nice big windows and double doors, they're in this place. They weren't in that rustic place down the road. So then all of a sudden we started to change our mind about things. And then you're thinking all the plaster on the wall, you know, people say, no, I don't want plaster. I hate all that. I want stone. Well, we noticed on the edge of our property where some of the plaster was coming off, that there was stone underneath. So some of the ugliest properties, which again, why I've written this, some of the, and ours, believe me, ours was really bad. But you start pulling that plaster off and start changing things, all of a sudden you've got a great property. You may then say, well, we don't really want to do sort of work, but still don't discount the ones that look a bit strange, because they could be the ones that have the roof terraces. Maybe some of the more rustic ones don't have outside space, which is fine as well, because you can have the passion of being in the historical center and all the rest of it. So there's one against the other, and you spend most of your time outside. But maybe you say, well, no, but I really want this, or I'm going to be living there and I want to be able to sit outside every morning and do whatever. There could be things that one type of building doesn't have where another type of building does have it. So again, just by finding the nice ones on the internet, and believe me, a lot of agents will just accept your list because they just want to show you 3 or 4 properties, whatever it is, hopefully sell you something, and then you just go away. And that's the reality of viewing here. Whereas somebody that's thinking about you properly wants to know kind of lifestyle you're doing. Let me know. Tell me what you're looking for. Tell me what something needs to have. Do you need to be do you want to be in the historical center? Do you need public transport? Do you need things like that? And then trust the person that you're working with. So again, it's all about that trust. So even though when you book to come with me, unless it's a tour, which they're different things, which you should be coming on, then I will then send you to the agents who's looking after the properties. But they're fantastic as well, and they're under our instructions. So we will say, look, this person's coming. If I can be on some of the viewings, I will be. But recently, it's been really difficult. But at least they know, show this, because even, I mean, Domenico I work a lot with. Sometimes if I give him a budget in the beginning, if I gave him a budget of up to 100K, then he would show people things at 90 and 100K. Not because he wanted more money from you, because his commission under 100K, not that you pay, that the sellers would pay, is the same, because that's how it works in Italy. But what he thought was somebody at 100K wouldn't be interested in looking at things at 40 or 50K. Whereas for the first month, once I realized what was happening, I then said, no, we show people everything. I want to show somebody something at 20K and 100K. So which one they buy is of no interest to me, as long as it suits. We need to show a variation. And lots of people, if you say, show me the properties you're going to show, you'll be saying, no, I don't want to see that, don't want to see that, don't want to see that. When that happens, the rare occasion that happens to me, I always think, no, don't say no, because that's a brilliant one. You've not been there. Like I said, that could have been my house. That could have been this house that we're in now. Because I would have definitely said no. 100% I would have said, no, don't even dream about showing me that one. And so that's another reality. Trust the people that you're with. Trust that they're going to do the right thing for you. And trust works both ways. Be honest with them if you're ready to buy now, if you're ready to buy later. I will say the vast majority of agents, if you say we're not quite ready yet, they will ignore you. That is going to happen. But it's pointless you looking around loads of properties. You're better off saying, right, okay, let's check this area out. Let's check this area out. Let's check this area out. And then we're ready. We're ready for the next time. Or maybe you're even ready to remote buy. So as I say, many people will remote buy anyway. They trust, luckily, thankfully, they trust what we're saying about and what I'm saying about the area and the fact that I live here and I'm in these areas all the time. So that can work. But this goes back to what type of person are you and what suits you. So remember that rustic can be awkward. It can also be fantastic, and ugly can be beautiful. It really can. You'll only experience it once you're actually here. This one's another big one. Book your viewings well in advance. And I know I've mentioned this before. And the reason why I'm saying it, so many people will say, I'm here on Thursday. I've watched all your videos. I think your videos are fantastic. I'm here. I can't wait to meet you. You know, and then you feel bad. So many people I've said to, look, I'm really sorry, but there's no way that I can, it's impossible. I can't put anybody with you because we're busy. And that is the reality, especially in popular areas. Whereas if you listen to the Facebook I shouldn't say that because people are listening on Facebook now, but some of the armchair experts that say, oh, come over, there's loads of properties here, there's loads of this, and you can just put an offer in for 80% of the price and they'll sell it. These people haven't got a clue what they're talking about. And Abruzzo and lots of other areas are so popular, and Italy's become incredibly popular again. And this is without Canadians at the moment, because unfortunately Canadians can't buy well next year. Hopefully it's going to be over and done with in January 2025. So imagine then when that market comes back in as well. So by leaving things to the last minute, it's just not going to happen. So you need to plan in advance. Again, it's all the respect thing to say to somebody, I'm coming then, can I book now? Plenty of time. This is what I'm looking for. If they don't answer emails or they're not very proactive, you may just have to say, you know what, that property that I've fallen in love with, which I know lots of you will do, you'll keep going back to one property and say, that's it. The estate agent's a nightmare, but you think, oh, well, I'll keep persevering. They'll let you down and all the rest of it. Tell them you're coming. If they're not very proactive, then keep it to a minimum with them. Just go and see that one if you want to see that one, or at least go and check out the area first. I was absolutely fixated on a property, and I can't remember the name of the town now where it was, but it was in the north part. And exactly what, I don't know if that's Mick or Mike, excuse me if I pronounce that wrong. It's not just about the property. It's a lot about the community and location. I would say it's more than a lot. It's almost everything about that, because a great property in a bad location is just a waste of time. Whereas a not so great property in a fantastic location, you could work with that. And the property that I fell in love with, and this poor man, it was actually an English person, I think he thought we've definitely sold. And it was perfect for me. I looked at it every day. It was my screensaver. It was everything for me. And I couldn't wait to see it. Got here, and in the end, I didn't even go and see it. Because on the way up to the village, I felt like, it was just seemed to be so far away. And it sort of... I got to the village, and then the agent said to me, and the house is up there. And I just thought, oh my God, this is just not like what I expected it at all. So if I would have said to somebody, right, I like where we are now, we're close to the mountains, but I don't want to be a 2-hour drive to get anywhere, then somebody would have said, well, actually, that one that you really like, Dave, probably is not going to work for you. Now, I know I would have still been stubborn and said, no, we must go and see it. But at least try and trust in what the people are telling you. And I say that was for me, it was a huge letdown. It was a huge letdown, but I'm so glad that I didn't go into it, because it was completely not what we wanted. That's why it's important, if you're buying remote, just make sure the person that you're dealing with, hopefully us, is telling you the truth, is having a walk around the town, is showing you everything, is showing you views out the windows. Because if there's anything that's a bit dodgy looking, you should be. I'd rather say to somebody, look, this property is great, but there's just that one horrible building that's 50 meters away. If you can get over that, because it's nothing, because the rest is incredible. But at least I want to tell people that. Just tell people everything. And if you're straight with people, then go for it and buy a remote. But just find out about the villages and find out about. It is more about the area than anything else. Just be open-minded. Just say to the person, look, you're the expert. You live there. You know what's good, what's not good. Show me something. Sorry, Tony, do you want to put that question up again that you just had on? There was one just before that. I'm very interested in buying. The issue is I'm American. That's not a problem. We don't hold that against you at all. We love Americans here. I do not have the EU cardholder's ability to buy with ease. How does an American buy? There's no EU cardholders. It's no different for you buying a property as an American as an Italian buying a property. The only time it's different is when you want to become a resident here, because then you need a visa and all the rest of it. Whereas if you live in Europe, then you don't need a visa. Outside of Europe, you need a visa to move here. But if you're just buying as a holiday home and that kind of thing, it's no problem whatsoever. Dead simple. Doesn't matter that you're American at all. Next one, book your accommodation in a central place and maybe try out the public services. Again, if you are coming out here and you decide to come here and public transport is a huge thing for you, then book any accommodation that you're staying in. Do it as if you're coming without a car, even though you're going to be traveling with a car. Again, Lewis, the guy who I mentioned that that has got rental properties in the area, he's got fantastic locations, and they are central in places like Sulmona as well, and in the centre of there. And the great thing about trying properties like this, one of the days that you're here, you may say, you know what, let's just try doing everything by bus or doing everything by train, because if that's so important to you, then you need to be checking that out, you know. And it is really important, because we will try and talk ourselves in to buying something to make it suit, even though actually that was one of the things that we didn't want to have. So some people will say, no, I must have public transport. I've got to have public transport. Then they may come to my village here, and even though there's basic public transport, it is basic, but they'll absolutely fall in love with it. They'll think the views are amazing, and all of a sudden it becomes trying to make something fit that's not quite right. And the way, again, is to take the reality pill and just say, you know what, okay, I'm staying in this central position. This is where I've been to go and view properties and the rest of it. Now I'm going to try and get back to that house that I've just fallen in love with, wherever it is, and I'm going to see if I can get back to this town or where the airport is. I'm going to try the buses out and see for yourself. So, you know, things like that, again, because you don't want to make life too easy for yourself. It sounds strange, but if certain things now, if public transport is not needed, most people rent cars and they don't care about public transport. But if it's really important to you, then make sure that you know, it's something that you're checking out properly yourself. Obviously, again, if you're buying remote, if some people say to me, I must have public transport, and I love that house in Palambara, I would say to them, look, there is some, but I'll be honest with you, because if not, you're going to meet me down the road and say, Dave, I'm waiting here, you know, 6 hours for a bus and nothing's coming. You told me that it was going to, and this comes back again to having that relationship, especially if you're remote buying, but also when you're coming out here and looking in person. Catherine, do you cover La Marque? It is, La Marque is on the radar, not at the moment, I must admit, but again, I can help up there. I do have one contact in La Marque that is, I'm hoping to start working with him. I've worked with somebody else that bought up there. But yeah, at the moment I don't, but get in touch and we'll see how we can help. Okay, so we're getting to the end. I am conscious that I'm keeping you all from doing your jobs or whatever else it's doing. Do not pack your days out with viewings. I've already pretty much said that one, because that is true. To see sort of 20 properties and all the rest of it, it's just not going to happen. Give yourself time. Have a look around the place, because if you fall in love with the property, you may want to stay there for half an hour. But if the agent's saying, look, I'm sorry, but these people are waiting for us and these people are waiting for us and all the rest, then you know you have to move quickly. So give yourself time. I usually say view in the mornings, view up to 1 o'clock, then go for lunch, have your lunch, relax, gather your thoughts together, and then in the afternoon, go and have a look around the places that you've just visited. That's what we usually do. We usually say 9 o'clock, well, say 1 o'clock, 1:30, go and have your lunch, relax, and then go back. Funky 007, is it possible to borrow to get property in Italy? Very, very difficult, unfortunately. Very, very difficult to get mortgages and things like that. Tony, there was another question before, and I didn't get to that one, but if you want to put it on, then I will answer that. This one is, hold on a second. Found the one you love, patience, think, breathe, then go for it. So before I do that, let me just answer George. We want to buy, but I worry about getting the RV. Think that they may ask for more money than published requirements. Heard it's difficult. George, in some places it is difficult. Luckily, the vast majority of our clients have managed to get elective residency visas with no problem. And I think a lot of it is where you're buying as well, because they do want people to buy in the south. So I think that helps a little bit. The financial requirements, yeah, I mean, it should be for a couple up to 38,000 euros per year. To get the first visa, your elective visa residency. I have heard that some consulates will ask for more, but yeah, unfortunately it's just something you have to go through. There are companies where you can contact them to see what they think your chances are. But I would say if you're buying in the south, so that includes Abruzzo as well, luckily, then you have more chance. You know, if you're going to an area where there's already tons of foreign investment, if you like, then you may find it a little bit more difficult. So once you've found the one that you love, have some patience. Any estate agents or anybody worth their salt, when people say to me, "Oh, somebody else has just put an offer in for that," and it's the oldest trick in the book, it's the car salesman trick. The reality for me is the estate agent, they would be a little bit silly if they've got 5 clients to view properties this week, and one person likes one property, and then they show the second person that property, and then they show the third person that property just to try and put pressure on the first person. Why would you do that? Because you're only ever going to sell one house. So I'd like to think that most people don't do that, because I know if somebody's really interested in a place, it would be nuts of me to show somebody else it 2 hours later. But it's the easiest thing, especially when you fall in love with something like that. You know, it's the easiest thing to say, better get this because it's going to be gone. And then everybody starts worrying, and then you start making all these mistakes. This is where I'm saying, get the people who you trust, because nobody should be putting you under that kind of pressure. It should be, right, okay, and I've had this conversation with so many people. You clearly love this place. Let's get this information together. Let's get that information together. I've got a couple of days before anybody else is coming out. And if I know you're interested, I'm not going to show that. That's how I talk to people, because that's how you should talk to people. Because the minute that's now, if I say to somebody is genuinely interested in it, I probably wouldn't have taken you there, because why would I? I'd rather sell 2 rather than getting 3, 4, 5 people interested in 1. So have a bit of pay, because you do need to think about it. Once you've got your contacts there, you can maybe make that phone call and say, look, I'm really interested in this one. I really think that this should be, this is the one. Think about it, breathe, and then go for it. Because at the end of the day, you're all coming out to view properties because you want to buy a property. Don't let anybody put you off that at all, but just relax about it all and find the right people. That's the number one. And then last one, be prepared for contracts you may be asked to sign. This is a big one. This is what we're going to do next week. We're going to talk about some of the preliminary contracts that once you've fallen in love and once you're excited and you're over here and the wine's flowing and the sun's out and you're in beautiful Italy and you suddenly think, I've done it. This is the one where people pick up these and they start writing without thinking. And again, I'm not being disrespectful when I say that. It happens to everybody. And this is the time where you need to think, okay, I've got this, I trust this person, and let's do things how we've planned it. And as exciting as it may be, that signature could turn into a nightmare, not because of the system, not because there's anything wrong with the system or anything else. I'm not doing it to saying these things to scare you, but because of what needs to happen to get to that point. Are you coming back? Do you need a power of attorney? Do you have the funds in place? How long are the estate agents or whoever it is you're dealing with saying that this needs to be done? How quick has it got to be done by? Because all of a sudden you'll be thinking, okay, power of attorney, that shouldn't take long. There's a notary, especially in the US, I think it's the same in Canada, there's a notary in every bank, so we can do that, send them the power of attorney, so that won't take, and all of a sudden you're totting all these days up in your head and you're thinking, a month, yeah, that's fine. And it happens where people then contact me and say, I've signed this. And I said, you realize you've got 3 weeks left on this and you've got to do X, Y, Z. And it's not just a case of going to a notary in your country and sending power of attorney. You've got to get the apostle stamps. There's other things that can take time. So this is the bit. Don't be scared, because that's what these sessions are for. Be excited, but be prepared more than anything, because that is the number one thing. Be prepared. And the second thing is get the people that you trust in order. And hopefully that's going to be us. There you go. It's almost like a song, wasn't it? Coming to an end, and off you go. I'll let you run off now and enjoy your internet sessions and download millions of properties. Okay, Monica. Wow, I'm not stupid. No, definitely not. But this is such logic. Yes, wake up, you and I totally understand what you're telling us. Every tip, explaining reasons why this, why that. Thank you. You're absolutely more than welcome. And I say, and I don't mean to be patronizing with it all, at all, because I made all these stupid mistakes that I'm saying today. I made a lot of them. But yeah, that's what we're here to share. Being asked what is your fee to help getting a property. It doesn't really work like that, but if you contact me on the info I'll send you a PDF sheet and show you exactly how it's done. The most important thing, do your, I said, do your research, go onto these websites, look for properties. I'm not putting anybody off doing that, but then just think to yourself, we're only there for a week. I want to see these areas. I want to do that. Let's have this. Let's get everything prepared. Let's get some time to see the area as well. And that's how to do it. Laurie, that is very kind of you. A home in Italy equals trust. Well, I'm glad people feel like that. And hopefully we'll carry that on through this year and way into the future. Okay, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you again next week. And I said the next Tuesday is all about a follow-on from this, when it really gets to the crunch and all of a sudden a piece of paper is presented in front of you, what to expect and what you should do when things like that happen to you. Okay, I'm off. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.